Today on Unsolved Florida, we have another missing persons case that has been unsolved for 25 years. We're going to be talking about the disappearance of Olive Frances Petty, who has been missing since September of 2000, and why her husband failed to report her missing and her family had to. Let's get into it. Olive lived in Fort Myers, Florida, with her husband of 20 years, Robert Eugene Petty, who went by Bobby. The week before her disappearance, she was visiting relatives in Kentucky for their annual family reunion. On September 14th, she flew out of Louisville International Airport, heading back to Fort Myers. When she landed in Florida, she called her mom from the airport to let her know she had made it safely. After that phone call, Olive has never been heard from again. There has been no activity on her credit cards, bank statements, driver's license, or social security number. After a week of trying to contact Olive, Ron, her brother, was able to get a hold of Bobby, who said Olive was missing and offered no further information. In a statement given to the police, Bobby said he believed his wife left on her own accord, but her family insists that is uncharacteristic of her not to contact her loved ones. So let's talk a little bit more about Olive. Her family has been very active in the news trying to spread awareness about her disappearance. They told the news that Olive had been twice married before her current husband and never had any children. She was known to drink and had left her husbands before. Her sisters were adamant, though, that Olive was a victim of foul play, because if her marriage was troubled, she would have went right back to her sister's home, which is what she had done before. Her sisters Phyllis, Meryl, and Mary say they will never stop looking for her. They even traveled down to Florida with their brother Ron the month after she went missing in October of 2000. And the reception by Olive's husband Bobby was less than welcoming. Bobby was annoyed by their presence and told them she had willingly taken off with another guy. He was not interested in searching for her or investigating where she may have ran off to. The siblings went door to door in Olive's neighborhood, talking to friends and neighbors, trying to piece together any information that they could. They took her photo to every store, grocery store, restaurant, bar Olive was known to visit. Her community said she was known for her friendly demeanor. She was well connected to people around her in the community and her family. The authorities in Lee County, Florida, stated that Bobby Petty was completely uncooperative with the investigation. He refused a polygraph test and questioning. However, Bobby Petty has never been named a suspect or a person of interest. During the first year that Olive was missing, the family had received emails alleging Olive had been spotted at a ski resort. The Georgetown, Kentucky police were able to trace the emails to England and verify the messages as a hoax, adding to the family's ever-growing frustration. Now, the emails may have sparked their hope, but they knew it wasn't true, because Olive loved warm weather and hated cold weather, which is part of why she moved to Florida with Bobby. Helen, Olive's mother, refused to leave her house on holidays and birthdays because she was convinced that Olive would come home. Every time the phone rang, she answered it, thinking it could be Olive. Sadly, she has now passed away, not knowing what happened to her baby girl. Olive was a white female born October 7th, 1950. She would be currently 74 years old. She was 49 years old at the time of her disappearance, standing 5'1", approximately 135 pounds. She was wearing a red t-shirt with a block design, green capris, white sneakers, and always had rings on all of her fingers. She had brown hair, blue eyes, and a scar below her right breast. Her left hip is a little higher than her right hip, her ears are pierced, and she may go by her maiden name, Rose, or Royce, spelled Royse. So I want to talk really quick about my thoughts on this case. The first thing is, have the police confirm that she actually landed in Florida. We know she called her mom to let her know that she had landed in Florida, but is there anything to back that up? Security cameras? Did she have a cell phone? Was she using the airport phone? It would be nice if the police could verify, because some of the missing persons reports say that she was last seen at the Louisville airport, which is of course where her family last saw her, but is there any confirmation that we know 100% she was in the Fort Lauderdale airport? Also, we know that the husband was uncooperative with the police the entire investigation. But was she getting a ride home from the airport from a friend, a taxi? Was her husband supposed to pick her up? The family really hasn't commented on the phone call and what was said during that phone call. Unfortunately, her mom has passed away. But if I was on the phone call with my mom and I had just landed at the airport, I would say, yeah, I'm just waiting on Bobby to pick me up, or I'm about to get a cab. I just wanted to call you real quick to let you know I'm safe and I'm here. So, really, because her husband is uncooperative, that's one of the biggest questions I have. It's really rare, but you can't rule out the possibility that if a friend or a taxi had taken her home from the airport, she could have been met with foul play before she even had the chance of coming home. However, if you watch true crime, then you probably are going to agree with me that her husband is more than likely responsible for her death. In this case, it sounds like he has probably gotten away with her murder, and especially when I tell you guys that Bobby was good friends with the investigators who worked on Olive's disappearance case. Now, this is a public screenshot. You know, I don't blur anything out because anyone could find this. I found in my research that Olive's niece posted the missing persons website a few years ago. So interesting what I have highlighted there in yellow. Also, which is totally not suspicious at all, he filed for divorce in November. Just a reminder, she went missing in September. So 2 months later, he files for divorce. Now, I guess if he thought she really did run away with another man, I could see how he would be angry. He would want to move on. He would want to file for divorce. But given the fact that her money has never been touched, her social has never been used, I don't think so. She was very, very, very close with her family, and in interviews, her sisters said that she always came home. If there was ever a problem, she always came home. The divorce was granted 1 year later in November of 2001 with no response from Olive. I hate to say it, but I don't think this case will be solved unless Olive's family gives their DNA, which I'm not sure. They might have already done that, and she is connected to one of the many Jane Does. There are people online who have tried to match her with different Jane Does found in Kentucky and Ohio. It would be really nice to know if she was actually in Florida. I'm going to say yes because of her phone call to her mother, which makes me believe she would not be a Jane Doe in Ohio or Kentucky. I agree with investigators that she would not be out here at 74 years old, not contacting her family for all these years. She was so close to him. I'm not sure if her husband is still alive. He'd be almost 80 years old, but it would be nice if, deathbed confession, yes, I, killed my wife, she was going to leave me, or, just something for the family so that they could have peace. But again, I don't even know if he is still alive. Also, I want to mention that this was exactly 1 year before 9/11, and airport security was a lot more relaxed. So again, I just really, really, really want to know if she was in Florida and if we have any confirmation of that, because that would play a big part into looking for Jane Does. I hate these cases that seem so straightforward, but there's no progress. There's no arrest. The police literally have nothing. It's so frustrating, and I cannot imagine being her family. Police say they hope someone who knew Olive will come forward with a missing piece of information so that they can proceed with the investigation. If you have any information regarding Olive Francis Petty, please contact the Kentucky State Police at 502-543-7723. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was a long one, but it was a very fascinating case. So we'll see you next time.